Okie dokie. So, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another stream here. Kicking it off with gold. It is Tuesday, and Tuesday. It's essentially the start of the week, as Monday is generally, setting up for what is to come. And I'm going to be going over a few technical analysis, ranging from gold and a few other pairs. But once again, the stream mainly covers gold if this is your first time on here. So, it's just essentially me going through my trading process. And we do this on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So once again, if you are watching, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any questions as we get on, and I will get to it. So taking a look at gold today, the first thing that I want to take a look at is, starting from a higher time frame perspective and seeing what we can currently expect for gold as we go into today's session. Gold this week, we've seen gold trade into the 1790 range, which is the highlighted zone that we have here on the weekly time frame. We can see that this area is a pretty significant resistance level on gold. But right now, judging by the momentum that we've built ever since we traded into 1680, gold has been building some strength, in terms of the buyers, right? Buyers have been building some strength. So right now, one of the things that I am projecting for gold is the possibility for us to trade up to 1814. And this is an outlook that I have posted for community members to see. So when you come into your trading session, obviously a lot of traders come in with a lot of expectations. They come in with a lot of analysis, and when I come into my trading session, it's to go with the market. It's to go with the flow with the market. What is price trying to tell us? So one of the things right now that we have is that we know that when buyers are in control, they start to take the highs, right? If we are in a buyer's market, right, they will seek the highs and they will take out the previous day high, the previous week's high. So right now what we have here, as you can see, we have the previous week low and the previous week high. And price essentially during the London session traded up to 1794, which is the previous week's high. And we haven't exactly taken it out yet, but there's a strong possibility that we could see price trade above the previous week's high today, or the highly likely today, or maybe even tomorrow. We will see how the session goes. But one of the things with gold too that I was taking a look at yesterday is I wanted to be a buyer, but I wasn't exactly sure how price would be reacting with this massive bearish candlestick that we got on Friday for NFP. So seeing price take out the buy side liquidity right now, and after price took out the buy side liquidity yesterday, we traded back down, and now we have traded higher again. And that is just a classic formation when we are in a buyer's market, right? Because price starts to make higher highs and higher lows. So going over to the lower time frame on gold, I want to see what happened in the London session, right? And what we see here in the London session is 3:15. As you know, the London session usually starts at 3 a.m. I start watching the London session from 2 a.m. So the standard is 3 a.m. to about 11 a.m. But 2 a.m. also works for me. But we can see that the London low at 3:15, boom, pushed up, and we are essentially still in the London session. We're going into the pre-New York, or almost the New York session is essentially almost here. But since the London session, gold has moved 100, about 111 pips so far. So that means that our bias for today with gold is bullish, 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 bullish. I'm going to be maintaining a bullish bias, guys, on gold until I see the market take out the London low. Then, you know, I will likely change my bias and start to, you know, look to be a seller. But as of right now, you know, I don't want to be a, you know, I want to go with the market in terms of what I see right now, and I don't want to guess work. I don't want to be someone trying to make something happen. So it's important that when you come to the market, you look for confluences that are going to help you in your trading. It can be whatever it is, something that you can focus on in terms of probability, right? In terms of probability that you can count on. And, you know, the London high and low has a pretty good probability when you are using it, if you've collected enough samples to understand how to actually use it. Just give me a second here. Okay. So going over to the 5 minute and the 1 minute time frame here, yeah, we can see that gold is clearly, you know, maintaining a bullish market structure. We are taking out the buy side liquidity, and on the larger time frame, we took out, you know, the major buy side liquidity. We have the previous week's low, which is the next major liquidity point, which is right here. And I think that with price taking out this level, we are likely going to be moving to the next major area of liquidity, which is right here. But you want to focus on some minor areas. I'm going to be taking a look at some minor areas of liquidity, which you can also call resistance as well, if you were to plot your lines right here. But I focus mainly on the highs of the candlestick, because that is where there is a lot of liquidity. If traders are going to be taking this, if traders are going to be taking their positions off or scaling their profits, they will likely do it here, or they will be doing it here. If more sellers are going to be coming in, they will likely be doing it right around this level. So this is going to be 1804 is going to be our next, you know, buy side liquidity and target. So it's our upside target for today, and yeah, let's see. So part of preparation is setting yourself up based on what the market is telling you, following the story of price action. And when that changes, you have to also adapt as well. And based on what we see right now with gold, we can see that, you know, in terms of market structure, we are clearly maintaining a bullish market structure as well. And yeah, so going to be anticipating some push to the upside. But if we break the London low today, or sorry, I said the London low, the London high. I always do that. If we break the London low today, we will likely be, you know, trading further down and maybe targeting the sell side. But for gold, to be honest, I don't really see anything to the downside that would be of like any interest. You know, in my opinion, that any sell side liquidity that would be of interest. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if price does, you know, want to trade lower. But as of right now, I have my focus on, you know, the upside targets. It's just you know, now waiting for price to do its thing. And yeah, so right now, this is essentially what I'm going to be waiting for. It is still 7:45 right now. It's still relatively early to be looking to execute a trade, in my opinion. I'll probably be waiting to see you know, how price reacts in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so before I look to execute something. But as we go into today's session, what can we anticipate? What can we anticipate? Okay, so today we have nothing. Yeah, we have nothing. So it's a very quiet day in the Forex market today. You never know, something could pop off. But Wednesday we have CPI coming out, which is coming out at 8:30, and core CPI as well. And then Thursday we have PPI coming out and unemployment claims. On Friday we have consumer sentiment, which is at about 10 a.m. So it's a relatively decent week in terms of fundamental. And weeks like this, I generally anticipate more better price action movement. There's not a lot of there's not as much manipulation in the market, if you want to call it that, or any fundamentally driven news. Price just moves in the direction that it wants to move to. So I'm not too sure what's happening with this candlestick here, but let's take a look at something else today. Let's take a look at Euro USD. Interesting. Not too sure if this is the way the candlesticks are currently, if it's my trading view or if it's across the board here, because sometimes trading view does have the ability to lag. But yeah, not too sure why that's happening right now. Let's see a different. Okay, so it seems to be across the board. Different brokers are doing the exact same thing. So I'm hoping maybe it clears out and it starts to show. But nevertheless, yeah. So euro, we are still in a range. We're still in this tight range that we've been in for the past couple of days now. And if you are a trader who consistently trades euro, hopefully it's going well for you. Hopefully you've been able to deal with the range in market. But range market are very, very difficult, especially as a new developing trader, because you end up making a lot of money, in the trending market. But when the market stays in the range, a lot of traders end up, giving back the profit that they've made. So generally for me, I don't participate in range bound market. I usually wait for a break out of the range before I start to engage the market. And euro right now is in a pretty tight range overall, as we've been trading, just right at this level, back and forth. I think a good box would be suitable for this. So in my opinion right now, I do think that we can anticipate further push to the upside with euro. I am more on the bullish side long term, so I am anticipating a break to the upside with euro, and I have my target set at the buy side liquidity at 1.046. If we want to use a little bit of fib to get some sort of like confirmation, I like to use fibs just to see the extensions in terms of where price could likely project to. We can see that we have the 1.27 extension right above this level, and the 1.618 right above this liquidity level that I have marked out. If we use the body of the candlestick, we might be able to get more of a precise. Okay, so we can see it just kind of falls short of this level and this level. So ultimately the areas of focus for euro right now in terms of price trading up to would be right here, 1.036 and 1.046 level. So that's kind of what I'm taking a look at for euro. If we do start to break further down into like we take out the previous low this week, I think that we can likely see a move to the downside. But if we do break out of this consolidation, we're likely going to be moving to the upside. If you haven't watched my video on on being able to trade consolidation like an institutional trader, you should definitely watch it, because it's proven to be very, very good on gold and other currency pairs as well. But everything that you learn, or everything that someone teaches you, you want to get in the habit of collecting samples and testing it for yourself, and not really taking anybody's word for it just because. Just because. Okay. So right now with gold, watching this level just to see what's going to be happening as we go into the session. But this candlestick is really, this is not the greatest. This is not the greatest. I'm gonna have to restart my refresh my trading view to see if it's gonna go away. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Trading view on the laptop. All right, guys, just give me 1 second. Okay, it's across the board. Okay. So that's all we can ask for, I guess, in terms of our candlestick. Seeing some good candlesticks. Hopefully this improves as the session continues to go into the 8 a.m. The 8 a.m. mark. So right now with gold, you want to sit on the sidelines. You know, personally for me, I am sitting on the sidelines right now, waiting for the market to set up and see what price wants to do. We've cleared a buy side liquidity. Okay, going back, we've cleared this buy side liquidity, so there's a strong possibility that with gold that we're likely going to be seeing price push to the upside, and that's what you want to anticipate in terms of probability. We have rejected off this level, so yeah, so it's important to pay attention to what is happening on the lower time frame as well as on the higher time frame to give yourself a little bit of perspective. Right now, we've pushed up, and I think this is the London high right here at 444, and we've taken out the London high as well at about 645, and now we are at a pretty interesting level in terms of what could potentially happen. We've taken out this south side liquidity. I'm just gonna have this I'm gonna take that out and just watch and see what price is looking to do, if we're gonna be continuing a move to the downside. So now we just wait and we see if the session has something to offer. In the meantime, before I dive into our, as you're starting your trading day, a psychology tip that I give, or will be giving one later on, but right now I'll give another one, which is, you want to focus on, well, let's go over to the one that I gave the community today, or let's even pull this up. Let's see. Okay. So share this in, open up. Okay. All right. So we have it here. To deal with the uncertainties that you face in the market, right? You must be calm. You must be focused. You must have a plan, and you must execute your plan. So going back to that, I shared that right here. To deal with the uncertainty that you face in the market, you must be calm, you must be focused, you must have a plan, and you must execute your plan. So as you're starting your trading day, as you're going into your whole trading day, whether you're trading stocks, whether you're trading the Forex market, whatever you're trading, the mind that you bring to trading is one of the most important aspects to your trading, your psychology. It's not the technical aspect, because we all know that if the technical aspect was what created great traders, right? Being able to read the market from a price action standpoint in a gifted way is very beneficial, but it is not what creates a great trader. I think it is a combination of you being able to technically analyze the market, manage your risk, right? Do all the technical stuff that you need to do, but also having the emotional intelligence and the psychological skills to keep yourself calm. To keep yourself calm, to not be overly impatient, to not be overly anxious, right? It's very easy when you come to the market and you're taking a look at, gold, for example. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling anxious, and this was something that I went through in my journey for a long time. The feeling anxious all the time, as I came to the market, because I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't have a system, or I didn't have a consistent way of looking at the market. But more importantly, I didn't. I didn't know how to manage my emotions. I didn't know how to manage the psychological aspect of trading, and that's really, really big. And here at LiveFree FX, that's what we focus on: is your ability to focus on yourself. Self-awareness for a trader is everything. It's probably one of the most probably one of the most dominant high performance skills that you can develop to help you become a better trader, is to become self-aware as to what's happening. The conversations that you're having with yourself while you are trading, are they positive, right? Or are you trading and right now, as you're watching the trade, or as I'm watching the market, having negative self-talks, or you're gonna have a losing day, you're gonna lose today? And these are all things that you want to keep in mind, right? And you want to control. Let's see if I can't tell why this. I don't think this is something that I did here.
Yeah, it is. Good morning.
Good morning, man. What's happening? What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing today?
Good. I can't with TradingView. I can't tell right now if the way it's popping up on my chart here, if it's something I did. Like, is your TradingView doing this?
I cannot tell. What exactly is it doing? I see the chart, or are you just talking about the menu that pops up?
So if you look at the candlesticks, right, the way the candlesticks are being delivered right now, right, you see it's not following. We're not getting the price of the movement.
There it is. The ask price and the bid price.
Yeah, the actual. Yeah, essentially.
That is interesting.
I mean,
That's probably TradingView. Probably something in the settings.
it wasn't like that yesterday.
Yeah, right? That is
You know,
weird.
it's weird. It's yeah, that's very very interesting. But anyways, such is life. That is okay. Can't complain. Can't complain. Can't complain. See, how's your morning going?
Not too bad. So far, so good, bro.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Going over gold and taking a look at euro so far. And euro, it's been in a consolidation for quite some time now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when it breaks. I'm still projecting further push to the upside. Um, Looking for price to trade up to 1.036, which is this level right here, and the buy side liquidity right here. So it's going to be a matter of watching and seeing what happens today with euro. I can't. I'm really struggling right now with the candlestick, with the way it's showing on here. Gonna check my MetaTrader 4 and just gain a little bit of a perspective, because
Yeah, because it's easier on NetTrader because at least you can go into your settings and actually mess with that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there it is. Yeah, data max labels.
I can't tell if it's
What? Press OK.
pardon.
Press OK. Because
Um,
you just the bid and X labels. That should be what shows you that.
it's so I guess what I was looking at is this what seems like the opening price.
Yeah, high and low price labels. On the drop down beside symbol last price label, see what options are there. It's up top.
Up top.
To the right, to the right. Nope. Back on the other chart, the scales. Yeah, to the right. There you go. Value according to scale or price and percent. Oh, this is
But these are settings I've never had to
never
change.
touched.
I've never touched them, right? So it's like it would be I don't think that price would
Change. Yeah, that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
think price would change. So it's a little bit it's a little bit weird, but I think I'm hoping it corrects itself in the next little bit, right? In the next little bit, but either way, that's all right. We're not making any solid headway right now on gold anyway. Um, so yeah. So with gold, what I'm taking a look at today is we have the London low right here, and the London session we had quite the bullish session, right? So we've moved up about moved up about 800, almost 100, like 111 peps on gold. So I'm anticipating a continuation to the upside today, especially given that we have, the London low right here. And we have the previous week's high right there. But on top of that, we also have this equal highs right there, which was from last week. So I'm projecting price to have some interest in taking out that level, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking to kind of bet on the daily time frame. We've taken out the previous yesterday's high as well. We've taken out yesterday's high as well. So yeah, I think it's getting rid of that opening, because it's not let's see. Yeah, that it's so strange that it would happen. It happened right now. That's all right though. High and low price. Well, maybe it's trading view. I would, at this point, I would likely say it is trading view. See what Patrick thinks, but nevertheless, everything is going as planned. Right now, I'm looking for gold to give me something that I can kind of say, okay, you know what? I think we're going to be pushing higher. We've taken out the sell side liquidity here. We're starting to consolidate, so there's a good chance that we could likely see price, continue a push to the downside, which we are kind of seeing right now. We're seeing price, continue its extension and whatnot. So how the next couple candlestick closes, will likely give us more of an understanding as to what price wants to do. It's 8:07 right now. Hoping that we can get more liquidity coming into the market, between now and the 8:30 mark. But a large majority of it is being patient, guys. Like I said earlier, or at least like I said in today's performance tip, is being focused on staying calm. There's a lot of uncertainty that you will face as a trader, in terms of, is price going to be going up today? Is price going to be going down today? You can do the best that you can from a technical standpoint to put yourself in the highest probability of being right. But in order for you to do that and to do it well, you have to maintain a certain level of confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself and your ability to actually follow your rules, to stay focused, and to not break that mental barrier of you staying calm when things are not going well, which can sometimes take time, whether a few months or a couple years, depending on how you are, from an emotional standpoint. But yeah, so with gold right now, this is essentially what I am looking for. I'm looking for a continuation to the upside. I have the sell side liquidity marked. I don't know if the market has any interest in taking it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to, have more of a concrete push to the upside right now. So let's see. So yeah, that's essentially it. Once we start to take out the highs, we start to clear the the buy side liquidity, and we start to break market structure to the upside, I will start to get more interested in buys. But as of right now, watching it, seeing what price wants to do, marking out the sell side liquidity and also marking out the upside liquidity, because you want to wait for price to make the first move. And this is something I talk about over and over and over again, is really being patient. Really being patient with yourself and really being patient with the market. If you are not patient, right, you're I think that there's a saying, it's like, if you are not patient, you will be paying the market, right? That you will be paying the market. And we don't want to be paying the market. We don't want to be paying the market. There you go. What are you taking a look at anything today, Tolu?
Yeah, I was looking for some upside moves for EU. But the thing is, getting the pullback where I need it to be, I'm not seeing it right now. So I'm just patiently waiting.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm more in favor of an upside movement for EU, and especially right now we have pretty much covered the move from NFP, right? So this was the move that we had on Friday, NFP, about 90 pips. And and now we've traded during the London session. We've traded above that, right? So there's a good chance that, hey, we could continue moving to the upside. Yeah, there is a good chance that we could continue moving to the upside. If we're taking a look at this, we can see the clear movement in the London session. And these are things that you want to pay attention to right before you start to sell, because a lot of traders are looking to, I know Patrick was talking about, shorting this, which was fine yesterday. Yesterday it looked fairly decent for a short, but being in the range, anything can still happen. And we've cleared this buy side liquidity. We cleared some major liquidities right here, and yeah, that could generate some premium sells to the downside. But to me, in terms of probability, you want to put yourself in the highest probability of your sells working out. So you have to factor in some level of market structure or some pretty significant things like the London low right now. And as long as this level is still holding, any sells on EU is on a low probability, because London, this is probably like a 60 or 50 pip move to the upside. Let's see that. So it's about a 50 pip move to the upside, right? So that's clean and clear. There's, in terms of expectation, what we can expect as we are going into today's session. And personally, for me, I would probably be looking to be more of a buyer as long as we stay above the London low. Hey, morning, Patrick.
Hey, good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, going over euro dollar this morning, and just seeing the possibilities for us to take the previous week high, and I don't think we have done that so far. We've cleared out these buy side liquidity during the London session, and we traded back down. To me, based on the technicals, based on what I see right now, as long as we stay above the London low, I think the probability of sells working out, are still very limited. But a break below the London low, and this would be a pretty good market structure as well if you are a market structure trader to focus on. A break below this market structure would be relatively good to say, okay, I think price is looking to move to the downside, because that's what sellers do when they are in control. They start to take out the lows, and when buyers are in control, they take out the highs. And currently right now, based on what we can see just from the data, we know that buyers are in control as they are taking out the highs. So what's your take on EU, Patrick?
On euro, well, it's pretty much played out my target from yesterday. Pretty indecisive on it this morning, but I like what you're saying here on euro. I can still see it go higher to take out the high created on the 4th.
Yeah.
The one where you have your white line.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool. But yeah, no, it's
moving. It's moving. Yeah, it's moving up now. The other thing I was going to ask you is your trading view. Did it? So trading view, I don't know if it's my trading view. The red line just kind of stays at the opening price. I don't know if yours is doing anything weird like that, but mine is kind of.
oh yeah, it's doing the same thing.
Yours is doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. There you go. Because I was a little bit like, I haven't touched any of these settings, so I can't imagine what's
That'd be spread.
Pardon?
I thought it would be spread, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the opening price. Whatever the opening price is, it kind of stays there for right now. And when we get a new opening price, it will shift and it will move. So that's it. How you feeling as you're going into today's session?
bit of those butterflies, but to be honest, it is what it is. Just hoping that when I do take that trade, it doesn't just go straight to stop loss. Even if it teases me for an hour, I don't really care. It'll go straight to stop loss, you know?
There you go. There you go. You're showing up, you're showing up and seeing, what you can get from the session today. I genuinely, Euro is looking decent for. I do see some possibilities of retracement to the downside before. That's what I would look for, for price to retrace further down and give you a low risk opportunity to get involved, maybe with your stop loss. Even that's if you are even considered being a buyer, but just from a short term perspective in terms of today, I would look to buy using the London, just using the London low, and my daily projection on the higher time frame. Yeah, so waiting for a pullback to the downside and then seeing if you can get some premium price right here with like a 15 or 14 pip stop loss to take out the previous week's high, because we're essentially already close, very, very close to the previous week's high, in comparison to price moving and trying to take out the previous week's low. So
yeah, that's like a good idea there. Long. But I do want to see it pull back lower before I do enter long. But I don't know if we're going to get that.
My thing is, if you are going, and this is one thing that I've seen it, I've noticed with a few of your other trades that you've taken, is the London low, right? Because the way you execute your trade right now is based on okay, we get a sweep of the liquidity, and we look to move to the downside, and it works. It's been working well for euros. You guys have been using it, but when you are using the London low, if you're the one thing with the London low or the London high is when you break the London high, for example, right? There is a higher probability that price will continue moving up as long as the market stays below the London low. If we take out the London low, there is a high probability that we will continue moving lower. And this is something that, don't take my word for it. Just go on your chart, go on your previous trades, and just have a quick scan and see how it's played out, right? Because as a trader, you want to do work with probability. And some of these datas that are here are just, they will give you what is the probability or the likelihood of this potentially happening. That's why the London high and the London low is something that I like to use consistently, in a day-to-day, because they kind of give me a little bit of, okay, what is the probability of this happening, in addition to whatever technical analysis that I have done as I go into that session. So gold, we're taking out the sell side liquidity here, and I want to see what happens. There you go. We took out the sell side liquidity that had marked out, and now we are seeing some pretty solid bullish momentum come into the market. And I want to see how the market is going to react if it breaks above this level. And yeah.
Bless you, man.
Bless you, Patrick. I will be right back. This is bad timing, you guys. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Just give me 1 second.
Jolo, do you have any setup in mind here this morning?
Yeah, earlier we were talking about possible longs for EU, but me, I was always, I'm always hoping for a pullback. So the pullback that I'm looking for on EU is not looking like it's gonna happen. I was hoping for a pullback down to maybe like 0 to 100 range there and play it off of there. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get that pullback, and they've already started going up. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I was hoping for a pullback, not as deep as you. But I do see what you mean, because if you look at the 15-minute chart, you had that handle like spike lower, almost as if it's grabbing liquidity with that big engulfing candle to follow. Now it's just inching up.
Yeah, I see what happens before open or whatnot, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, the longs still look like a better play there.
That's
but
right.
I think within this range that we're at, I would rather at least a solid.
Alright.
Yeah.
So nothing on EU for now, and that's the only other thing I was looking at. I haven't been looking at the indices much, so I'm chilling.
So yeah, my plan today is I got 2% to risk for the day. It's either I take one shot at 2 or 2 at 1. And then the rest tomorrow if I mess up today.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, you never know. I'd still say give yourself, like, depending on how today plays out, see what tomorrow holds.
Yeah.
See what tomorrow holds for sure. Still a very sound risk management overall. Like, it's not like you're shooting above your normal, but you are still you're still within a good range. Still within a good range. Yeah, what I'm going to be looking at for gold potentially, if we do end up getting the big push to the upside, since the London session, we've essentially been in a consolidation. And as you know, someone said this. I think it's like, sometimes it's like you want to get to a point where trading is boring because you're doing the same thing over and over again. And for gold, I kind of feel like the one approach that I do where I feel comfortable with it, I'd say like a good 90% of the time, is the accumulation and distribution strategy that you guys have seen me use multiple times. And it's like almost because that's what my brain is looking for. And so it's like a push to the upside, right? If we get a push to the upside during the London session, we had a solid push to the upside of about 100 pips, and since then we've kind of just started moving sideways. So what I would like to see right now, because the market isn't exactly giving us anything to go off of, We have these mini market structures in play. Price is taking out the sell side liquidity. We could see price drift further down. Sure, yes. If we see a market push, a market break, or price continue its movement to the upside and potentially takes out the previous week's high, that scenario will likely generate, a pretty good movement to the upside, because this would be a range that I can use of 60 pips, and wait for price to essentially trade lower, and then continue a move to, to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating for gold, if for a buy scenario. But I want to watch to see how price continues to play. But as of right now, we have pretty solid bearish market structure in play right now, with this high still in place, and we've just taken out the sell side liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised if gold wants to drift further down, and potentially even make a deeper push towards the London low.
Got inflation data tomorrow.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Any expectations?
I expect inflation to have peaked. I am a true believer.
to have peaked.
For all our sakes.
I mean, it'll be good. It'll be good, but
That's what the forecast shows as well. A decrease in the rate of increase. So you expect it to increase, but not as much as before. So.
Well, that's because I don't think I think there's still possibility for it to increase. How much is I can't say that, but maybe I'm not maintaining a positive outlook on the U.S. economy right now, or more like the global economy.
I was like that a couple of weeks ago until I started to get depressed. I was just like, let's just.
Well, I think the thing is, yes, it's for you as a as an owner, in terms of real estate, whatever it is, when there's certain things that you have to factor in, and you have to pay attention to all this stuff, right? Interest rates and all that, because it does, on a day-to-day affect your investment. For me, I think the one thing that I've always maintained, and some people could say this is I wouldn't say it's toxic positivity or whatever. It's just a certain level of confidence of whatever happens in the economy, knowing that you will be okay. That's always kind of been my approach. It's whether you're people struggle, in the best of times, and people will struggle in the worst of times. And what will determine whether you do well in a shitty economy is you, right? It's you. And there are gonna be certain things that you can't, if you in terms of interest rate, right? You own a home and all that stuff, yes, you're gonna be affected, right? But also the other thing too is how we deal with situations that happen to us, because everybody has to deal with certain level of shitty situations. But if you have a mentality of okay, you can bounce back, and it's not always going to be easy, right? You can do fine. So things like that don't really get to me in terms, because I don't care. Politics will be politics, and it's going to be the same way for the next 100 years. I don't think anything's ever going to change in terms of politics. It's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. But in terms of the overall direction of the economy, the reason I want it to go good is just because times are good, everything's everything's going good, you know. Life's good.
Life good. It's easy.
Tough times make tough.
And I would definitely agree with that. So right now, gold. What we're seeing right now with gold is the subtle shift in terms of market structure. We're starting to see price move, from right now the seller's market structure, which we've been maintaining, higher. We have a high here and price creating lower lows and lower highs, or at least I thought that this what we just created here before this big red candlestick was a potential higher low. And if we do have a bullish candlestick that starts to clear this high, that will be a little bit of an insight as to, okay, maybe we can expect price to continue a move to the upside. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start paying attention to this subtle movement to see the shifts. As of right now, we still are in the mercy of the sellers. We're still in a seller's market in terms of the structure that we see here on gold, even though we are in the 1 minute. And for a lot of you watching, and you're like, okay, you don't trade the 1 minute. That's totally okay. But one of the things that I had to learn in my trading journey is that from everything is all the same. The same way price trades on the 1 minute is the same way trades on the monthly time frame, is the same way trades on the weekly, on the daily time frame. And the 1 minute is gives you a little bit of insight into what is what is happening that you can't see behind the scenes. It's like a look behind the scenes. But the bigger time frame, which I also recommend that you also pay attention to, will give you a little bit of a higher perspective of the big picture. But you can't just focus on the big picture. You still have to focus on the little bit of the deeper. You have to be able to read deeper, right? So while you're looking big, you still gotta sometimes narrow your vision. And with gold, the vault, like it's a volatile pair, and liquidity can be a lot. So I recommend, in terms of being able to manage risk, I use the smaller time frame just to be able to at least gauge a 30 pip trade and capture anywhere between 100 and 100 plus pep. But if you're doing down the 1 minute or the 1 hour or the 4 hour time frame, it's going to be really hard to get a 30 pep stop loss on the 1 hour, maybe periodically. But I find on the 1 minute, even on the 5 minute, that's something that you can likely do more consistently, because you can watch the minor breaks and stuff. So there you go.
Hey Toby, what do you think of the idea I posted in chat?
Stoller there. I think maybe he's on mute.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm taking a look.
It's against the overall idea, but I'm not gonna just sell it if it hits there. I'm just gonna see how it kind of breaks down, or if it just breaks right through.
So I'm starting to turn my focus over right to this high right now, because I think that the momentum that price is trying to generate to the downside is getting weaker. So I think we could likely see price move to the upside. And once we start to see some more bullish momentum, I'll likely look to engage a buy trade on gold targeting the previous week's high. Totally, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm good for now. I like the idea though, Pat. I like the idea.
So right now, let's see. So let's see, I want to see how this candle closes, and I will likely crap. Seems like we're gonna be taking it. Let's see, 32. So yeah, we're gonna be taking out this buy side liquidity right now, and to me, this shows that gold is interested in moving lower. I just want to see a little minor pullback, if just a little bit, just a little tiny bit. And we may not see that, but I would like to see price, just pull back just a little bit, just a little bit. And I could still take the trade and place my stop loss right here, but I wanted to do something a little bit. I don't want to miss this. Why is this happening? Okay, there we go. So we've cleared that.
Hey, Pat.
Yo.
All right, so for that move there, what I see, a good possible entry in regards to that, would probably be around 0 to
Okay.
430.
So pause. I just got in. I just got in a gold trade here. But yeah, carry on. Totally sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to call that. So
You're in it already. So.
yeah. All right. Let's see.
0 to 430. Which would mean, I would play it tight, so I would still be like, your stop loss would be somewhere above that high. So that's what I would look at if I was looking to short it. But there would definitely still need to show some confirmation of that move there.
Yeah, same here. Okay. Well, I got 2 ideas for the day. Wait and see.
Okay. So let's see how this. Ideally, with this trade here. 1 second, just gotta deal. So what I was kind of hoping for with this trade is to see price give us a little bit more of a deeper retracement to the downside. Or maybe I probably should have just entered as I was anticipating price to take out this buy side liquidity here. But either way, the reason for this trade being executed right now is that yes, we've taken out the buy side liquidity. From a market structure standpoint, we've moved from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Now keep in mind, we've taken out this buy side liquidity. I am projecting price to continue trading higher, and taking out the previous week's high, and the London low being right here. But so right now, this is a first strike for me in terms of this trade, because I didn't want to miss the movement to the upside. So this is it. So this is a first strike. I'm still paying attention to the fact that we took out the sell side liquidity. So there still is some possibility for gold to trade lower, which is why I gave myself the first strike, because if price is going to be moving to the upside, I don't want to miss this move in anticipation of me getting maybe a more favorable entry or something like that. So so sometimes you gotta go with your intuition and pull the trigger, even though there are certain things that you're factoring as well. Like, you have to look at all angles. You have to look at everything, and the fear of losing should not stop you from taking a trade. And to me, it's a planned trade. Everything is, from a structure standpoint, looks good. So now it's just a matter of seeing if the market can generate enough push to the upside to take out this, to continue to take out this high, which is also an equal high if we take a look at this, right? So that's one of the reasons why I'm maintaining a bullish bias on gold right now, mainly because of this, because of the fact that, hey, we have some equal highs right here, and I greatly believe that the market will likely be taking this out, whether today or tomorrow. I'm hoping it does that, while I am in the trade and in the market. But hey, let's see. And yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what price does at this point. So in it, and yeah, let's see. Okay. Probably look to take something off the table. Okay, there we go. Yeah. What's your what were you guys are talking about euro?
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
No. There you go. We gotta be patient. I still think that it could. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the most favorable thing for an upside was still for price to wait for premium price. Right now, the market hasn't given, I guess, at 750. I wouldn't even consider this premium price. Premium price is a low risk opportunity to get involved. The London session, some nice premium price in terms of, how price traded down even, from, yes, you can use the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, so from here to here, that's like essentially almost a 5 pip or even this low. So like 4, 12, 11, 11 pip stop loss. That's premium price on euro, right? So if you were to buy now, where are you going to place your stop loss? I guess you'd be placing it either right here, but that's still like 23 pips. And if you place right here, that's 40 pips. So I think a pullback is likely in order, hopefully.
Hopefully as well.
Hopefully. So right now, gold is pushing higher. This we're just above the previous week's high. About 10 pips, 11 pips. I will be taking my first scaling off the table. And yeah, I want to see the market take out the previous week's high. And let's freaking do that. Let's freaking do that. First trade for the week. With a long-term target of 1804. So today, if we do trade up to 1804 for pretty good reasons, I would like to be in here. Let's see. What is the one thing that you would say so far from your challenge, this challenge you've learned, Patrick?
Just give me a couple minutes.
You're
think about it.
Oh, okay, there you go. You got it, buddy. So taking a look at gold, it's moving. We just got to take out this high. We've cleared this buy side liquidity here, this minor buy side liquidity, but the main liquidity is right here and the previous, week, the previous week high. That will be where the money is. That's where a lot of traders are going to be targeting. They're looking to be long. But yes, if price doesn't want to do that, we can likely see a rejection here. But one of the things right now that I'm looking at, or that made me even consider taking this trade, was just the momentum. A big part of you being a scalper, I consider myself, as a scalper. I go for 30 pips on my first scaling, and I try to risk 30 pips. And with gold, you can get that with a few, within minutes, or within maybe an hour. But sometimes if it's moving well, you will get that within minutes. Is momentum. You want to factor in momentum, and you want to factor who is in control of the market, right? And when you have these clear bullish movement, right, it is a sign of who is in control. And as a retail trader, you want to ride the bus with the big boys. We don't make the calls, the commercial traders, the institutions, right? So when you come to the market, being able to figure out who is in control of the market is something that will allow you to consistently say, okay, am I getting on the wrong bus today, or am I getting on the right bus? And from what we can see in terms of the London session, in terms of the movement to the upside that we saw, we know that we are in a bullish market, and we've been consolidating ever since the big move. So there's a lot of orders that are coming into the market right now, in my opinion, and how price breaks, where price breaks to, will likely determine if these orders were bullish or if these orders were bearish. Right now, I am in the trade a little bit more of an earlier buy, but a break to the upside will signify that a lot of these orders that came into the market came in because there's a lot of buy orders. So I'm projecting that, hopefully, I am in the right side of probability given all the confluences that I'm using on this trade. But as a trader, the one thing I want you to keep in mind, guys, is that you never know. That is why trading can be a very tough business, because you're trying to master the market, which you never will. By the way, you never will master. You can only master yourself, and even that is still a challenge, right? You are constantly dealing with uncertainty. So your best friend in the trading game is probability. When you can understand and accept probability, you kind of create a carefree, situation where it's like, okay, you know what? If I'm gonna be a buyer right now, like, is this the highest probability opportunity today? And that's really all it is. Coming into the market every day and having tools that you can use to give you, the highest level of probability. If you have a winning track record of 60%, 70%, it means that, 70% of the time, you're moving with probability, and that's what you want to focus on. So winning or losing is not the end of the world. And when you lose a trade, you have to learn from it, right? You have to learn from it, and you have to look at, okay, what are some of the things that I could have done better on this trade, and continue to make progress and continue to show up. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents here. Yeah. Let's see how gold plays. Hopefully it's... Once again, you guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, ask questions, whatever. This is essentially free education, for you guys watching on YouTube. If you like the content, definitely hit the like and subscribe so we can grow and we can reach more traders who want to learn and who want to hear some stuff in terms of, You guys like the what do you call it, the camera angle, the new the new camera angle, or you like the old camera angle better?
This one's nice. I was gonna say something looks different today.
Yeah. Yeah. I was playing around.
It works, man. It works.
There you go. Yeah, so with gold, I'm essentially looking for price to trade into our next area of resistance, which is right here. Once price takes out this buy side liquidity, the next area where we could potentially see some shorts, if we are going to see some shorts, will be, the 1800 and, towards the 1804. So on the lower time frame, I have my trade here marked out. It's running, and yeah, I'll be looking for my first scaling right above 10 pips, right above the previous week's high. I'll be looking to take something off the table and move my stop loss to break even, and my trade will essentially be risk free. And yeah, on my second scaling, I will likely be looking at the 1800, just before the 1800 mark, to take something off the table. We're gonna say 80, because that could be a sensitive level, if you want to call it so, or even a psychological level, given that it's 1800. So it could carry some significance of its own, and you definitely want to you want to manage your trade accordingly. So that would be about 65 pip in terms of second scaling, and I like to do about 3 scalings off my trade, and that will be, this would be my first scaling, this would be my second, and this will be my third and final scale in. And this is something that you can do in terms of lot size, if you are managing your trade based on a specific lot size. Maybe you take a trade with like 3 lots or whatever. One of the things that I experience as a trader is fear. A lot of us experience fear. A lot of us experience the emotional aspect of trading. And no, your favorite mentor is not immune to the emotional aspect of trading. So as a trader, it's important that you build things that will give you the ability to manage that, right? And I find that this first scaling for me kind of does that. I take a trade right now. My heart rate is a little bit high. It's not, within any range that I can't manage. I'm not, oh my God, like scared. But when I take something off the table, I know that my account, it's no longer in risk. Anything can happen now. Price can continue to run, and I'm good, right? But if price stops me out, the fear of losing is no longer there, because I have taken something small off the market. And the mentality is small wins add up. And unfortunately, a lot of traders don't follow this rule, because you're constantly looking for maybe 100 pips, 50 pips, whatever. Maybe you're trading a small account, right? So you want to make the big bucks, but price will likely give you 20, 30 pips, 15 pips more consistently than 100 pips. But you're not taking those when the market gives you that, right? Because you're constantly looking for bigger and better. And sometimes you don't always get bigger and better. You just get nothing. And so the way that I manage my trade right now is a very tactical, psychological way for me to maintain, my emotional stability as a trader. That's 66.
Totally, euro rejected right off your number there.
It's perfect.
I'm not in this one.
But I needed to drop further down. I needed to drop further down, pull back up.
Yeah.
Maybe towards that open, and then take it. That's what I'm looking at. As long as they drop too open like this, I expect a pullback.
Come on, gold. What are you gonna do? It's 9 a.m. So we're seeing the 9 a.m. candle right now, and the 9 a.m. candle is, so this is what happened in the 1 hour time frame. So we took out the previous low and we took out the previous high. So this to me gives me a little bit more confirmation on the trade here to say, hey, you know what, I think we're going to be going higher, because price rarely takes out the high or the low and the high, and it shows that there is a strong sign of buyers in the market. And yeah, so let's see how it plays. Let's see how it plays out. We're essentially a few pips away from the previous week's high. I just want to see some surge in liquidity. I think we're seeing that. So there we go. Market maker manual. Just Patrick, you guys got any plans? What do you guys got going on today?
Just another weekday, man. Nothing much.
Another weekday.
Much.
I hear that.
We started going to like this indoor golf range where it's there's a bunch of like cameras and tech. Where it records like your swing from like multiple angles and gives you a bunch of stats.
Wow.
Basically neat. And like you can go like post every swing. It'll give you like a replay that you could slow down. You could like draw on the screen.
Wow.
Kind of, you can draw like a straight line to see if your swing's going the right way. It's pretty sick. It's actually pretty dope.
Wow.
You get like a little private-ish room. Up to 4 people, I think.
What's the software that they use? Do you like the simulator?
Sure, but it's called Tracer Golf.
Tracer Golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I went to one, but the simulator they used was a poor. You could. Like if you played a range version, like you were in a range, it would be it wasn't bad. But I think my buddy and I we wanted to do like 18. You couldn't.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a game, so it was just bad. It just wasn't right. So I kind of I didn't enjoy it. But they had stats like that you essentially use it to get better.
Exactly. We did try a game of 18 yesterday.
How was that?
It's fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I just suck.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing any better.
I thought of taking some classes this summer. I was like, I'm gonna be taking some classes for sure. But I didn't end up doing it. So I have to, maybe that's something I'll get into. Like golfing is funny enough. Golfing is kind of like trading. It's like some days you're dope as you're sick with it. And then some days you just suck.
Yeah.
You just suck. You just really suck. And it's like, you can't get it right. Oh my God.
Jesus, look at gold.
There you go. So first scaling is out. And that's what happens when we take a major level of liquidity. So the previous week's high, we've cleared the previous week's high. I want to see if we're going to be, trading into the 1800 before we get a pullback. So I haven't moved my stop loss to break even as of yet because this is a pretty significant pullback. But I want to take something. I want to take something else off the trade here. And 66 pips right before we hit 1800. That's gonna be it, because I do think that 1800 could play. It could act as a psychological level. Just it is a significant 0-0 number on its own. So take something off the table right before we get to that number, and yeah. So yeah, patience pays, and yeah, this is once again this is what we do. This is what we do. Not every day you will do this. So manage your expectations, because as a trader you are going to have losing days, and but when you continue to show up and you do the same thing over and over again, yeah, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. That's why I wanted to get in the trade before we broke the previous week's high, because I talked about, I think when price was right here, getting involved in the trade once we break above this level, above the previous week's high, because right now what we've essentially created here is an accumulation. And when I talk about buyers and sellers, right, we came into the market using the London low, price being below the London low, showed that buyers were in control of the market, right? And that's the one thing you want to focus on, is like, whose market are you coming into as a trader? That's like, to me, other than showing up at a time where there's going to be liquidity in the market, your next focus, if you're going to be scalping, if you're going to be swing trading, is to decide for yourself, whose territory are you coming into. And right now, knowing that the London session was bullish was further insight to say, okay, we are in a we're in a buyer's market, and just watching for the change in market structure did help a little bit. So right now what I'm looking at is a lot of accumulation right at the zone here, and price spent a lot of time after we saw a push to the upside from 443. We've been in this range, so a lot of orders were coming into the market right from that time, and now we've seen the distribution of those orders, which I talked about right before they happen, is like having that we were buyers. It's a buyer's market. There's a strong likelihood that a lot of these orders that are coming in are buying orders, right? And now this move to the upside, clearing the previous week's high and clearing the equal highs that we have here from last week on gold, proved that. So what I'm waiting for right now is for price to trade, towards the 1799 level, and I will take something off the table and move my stop loss to break even, because I still see the possibility for gold, I think probably later in this session, which is why you want to take something off the table, for gold to dip further down back into this retracement for another buying opportunity, maybe potentially later on, as you go into the New York, later in the New York session, maybe for the 10:30 or even 10 a.m. mark. But I want to take something off the table, move my stop loss to break even, and see if I can target the 1804 buy side liquidity. So far, our first scaling has been surpassed and it's been hit. So I'm very much grateful for that. Good morning. I think Irvin, is that you?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man. How you doing, man? I am good. I am very good. How you been?
I'm pretty good, man. I haven't really been trading too much the last little bit, so I'm going to ease back into it right now.
Yes, sir.
Just watching everything today, looking for a long on US 30.
US 30.
That's a nice little gold trade there, man. Good job.
Yeah, man. It's yeah. Now we're pulling back into into the range, and I am once again faced with the possibility of moving my stop loss to break even, or to wait. Following my rules, yes, I have to move my stop loss to break even technically, because once you take something off the trade, there is no point in giving it back, and giving it back, even though, you do risk the possibility of, of not being in there for the overall move. But right now, I think my mentality or my focus is, if it runs, it runs. So I've sat here for, about an hour and a half now, almost 2 hours. So I would like to make sure that I don't end up losing this trade permanently. So I'm just going to move my stop loss to break even. Initially took the trade with a 35 pip stop loss. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm still looking for a pullback, and if you've missed this gold buy, this is actually another opportunity. This pullback that we're seeing here is a great opportunity for a continuation to the upside, because we have this accumulation, and accumulation tend to be very sensitive. They are just as powerful as support and resistance, because they go deeper beyond the support and resistance. It's a lot of orders, right? A lot of orders came into the market, so price will likely trade back to where a lot of these orders came into the market, and then push back. How deep we are going to retrace, it's a little bit unknown right now, but I am hoping that, since I am already in this trade, I am hoping that we don't trade any further down, in my opinion, because I don't care to re-enter the trade. I just want my objective to be hit. Right now, my stop loss has been moved. To break even. Yeah, break even. So stop loss right now has been moved to break even. I'm a firm believer in paying yourself for the time that you spend on your computer, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's an hour. I would be damn near upset if I spent the last 7:30, 8:30, almost 9:30, 2 hours. The last 2 hours here, and I have nothing to show for it. And the market gave me something. So that's it. So now trade is essentially risk free. Trade is essentially risk free. Now, you just watch to see what happens. See what happens, guys. Patrick tells me you guys have been hitting the range of the simulator.
Yeah, man, I've been going crazy with the range. The Euro one was pretty dope too, but even like a regular range.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna get a lesson though. I got like really into the game, man, and now like I need to like master it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And I was just talking about that. I told him I was certain I was gonna get lessons this summer, but I never followed through, because I stopped playing and I didn't go as much. I haven't been as much this year. I've been busier than I was last summer. So it's yeah. So a lesson is good, man. Golfing, and I was telling him, golfing is kind of similar. You tell me this is like, because I think golfing is very similar to like trading.
Similar to trading, 100%, bro. I agree.
Some days you're like Tiger Woods, or you feel like Tiger Woods, and some days you feel like an amateur. like a complete amateur. You know,
Not
so
only that, but like you can't always go for the home run. You know what I mean?
no.
Sometimes you take that 100 yards, like you take it and go. That's like your 1x trade, bro. It's the exact same thing. It's crazy.
Exact same. And that's what I was like, that would be a good side hobby to help drive some basic philosophy in deep down, because a lot of things I find that sometimes when you focus on the problem, when you focus on the problem, you don't always get the right perspective. But when you do other things, that's why, like, my buddy's an actor. Like, he'll talk about have another passion outside of your passion, because sometimes you're approaching your passion with a narrow vision, with an emotional vision. And something like golf, you do it for fun, you do it to entertain yourself, you do it to, like, it's very common too, because you can go to the range, you can go to the course, it's beautiful, it's just you, or with a couple people, and it's nice, and it'll teach you just the basic philosophies. You can't always try to aim, like you just said, for a home run. Sometimes you got to take what you can get, and that's a perfect trade here. With me, it's like some people or some traders are going to look at this, or even my old version of myself would laugh at this, without knowing why I was doing this. Is like, why do you take profit so early? Why do you take 30 pips so early? Why not just wait and sit in this trade to get 100 pips, right? But the truth of the matter is, you may not get 100 pips, right? You may not get 100 pips, but you can get 30 pips, you can get 60 pips, and you take that. And you take that.
Yeah, man, it's like very similar. Plus, like, you're right, it's good to have like a hobby that, let's say, like, you're not trying to make money off, you know what I mean? Just do it. I found that's kind of what it is.
Oh man, I think that hobby for me is fitness, man. It's the gym. I don't think anything will ever, maybe, who knows, I thought golf was gonna be the next thing, but I fell off and I got to get back on my horse. But working out that's the one thing. It's like you do, even trading too. I love trading. I've done trading. As a trader, if you're gonna be successful at anything, you have to do it even when you are not succeeding at it, right? And you have to continue to show up when you're not maybe getting the best results, because that's the one thing I said. I think I said this to you, Patrick. In terms of success, success is always paid in full, and you have to pay it in advance, right? You have to pay it in advance. You have to pay the price to get to where you want to get to, in advance. And yeah, finding something that you can do that is not taking the same emotional aspect as trading, because trading can be very emotional. So after your trading day, something that you can do to take your mind away from it is cool. Whatever that is. That's it. Go.
Yeah, Tolu got in those Euro shorts. Not in just yet, but
Yeah, In my opinion, I think this is a good level.
Might actually get involved here. No, I was gonna give it 10 minutes till the open.
What is it? 9:21, yeah?
Yeah, 9 minutes. So I'm thinking to sell. Should I just buy?
That's hilarious. So this is my 2 cents on euro here. You do as you please. In terms of probability, and we are like shorting. Yes, price is at this level here. We cleared this buy side liquidity, which is right here, and we traded down. In terms of who is currently in control of this market right now, just paying attention to right here is, I would say, buyers are currently in control. So sells could still happen, and obviously I have this here because I am looking for a pullback, right? The pullback. But in terms of probability, there is still a higher probability of price trading higher because of the fact that we are still in a buyer's market and price is targeting the high. So sells could definitely pan out. Sells could definitely happen. And if I was selling, sells, I would sell. This to me is a good level to sell. But the probability is this would be essentially a counter trend trade. If you get what I'm saying, like shorting would be a counter trend trade in terms of the overall direction of where price is moving. So there's a probability of it working out, but there still is, and the previous week's high is right here, and the London low is right here. So for me, I never sell with price below the London low. To me, it's too risky in terms, and the probability is not always there, which is why gold trade today, I was a buyer in terms of my bias, because part of me coming in was using the London low to say, okay, you know what, this is it. The London session was bullish. So there's a strong likelihood that the New York session will also be bullish as well. Reason being, in terms of orders, the way price move from an institutional order flow, where you talk about like the daily time frame, price wants to complete its objective. If it's going to be moving up, it will give the London traders that move in the general direction of where it wants to go, and it also will give the New York traders the same thing as well. So that's why I use the London low. But to answer your question, it is all you. It is all you. There is no right or wrong answer, and nobody knows. That's the one thing I would say. Nobody knows, but you have to look at the chart and you say, okay, this is what you feel, this is what you want to do, and you have to do that accordingly. Yeah. If I would short right now, I'll probably maybe wait for sellers to come in and maybe some selling momentum to take out this level, maybe like a nice big candlestick, to show that there's a willingness for price to continue moving lower. Otherwise, we could be taking out this high. But hope that did not confuse you. I don't want to. But I would say do what feels right for you. Do what feels right. Do what you feel is. Have confidence in yourself. And this is something that is like we tend, and I do this all the time too, is I tend to ask for advice, from a place of doubt. And, you want to get comfortable with asking advice from a place of certainty. right? And unfortunately, that's not how most of the time works, because when you need advice, you're in a doubtful, place and whatnot. But if you don't know what is likely going to happen, you can also sit on the sidelines too. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, sir.
And I'm motivated to go for the dub. For the wins.
And Euro's been in such a consolidation on the daily. Like, just be careful. I would say pick something that gives you like a higher probability. Take that US 30 trade now.
US 30. Once it sweeps the sell side.
Whatever I say, that's what I do looking for.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Just starts with it, man. It is what it is.
Alrighty. Plug my laptop.
Where would your stop be on US 30 or?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to see how low it falls when it takes it, if it takes it, and then just below that.
So 1,000 points is 100. 1,000 risk divided by 10 lots. All right, that's a bit trade.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, just waiting for gold right now to hopefully trade and give me something else other than what it's essentially given me. But right now the trade is at break even, so there's very little worry in terms of the trade now. Like, I know the biggest thing for me, it's not even about winning. I would love to see price continue moving up right now, and hit my objective, right? That's my second priority. My first priority is like putting myself in a position where I don't lose. Unfortunately, as a trader, it's a very difficult thing to do. And I found in my years of trading that this is an effective way to do that. And to me, it's an effective way because it's like you can't hit a home run every time. You know, home run is not something you can go for every time. And the way that I was trading and the way a lot of traders trade, whether you're applying the set and forget method, works for some people. But when you start to factor your psychology into all of it, you may realize, okay, you know, you want to take something, you want to take profit, but price hasn't hit your objective. So what do? You have money running. Do you want to lose? Do you like? A lot of traders struggle with these decisions and whatnot. And I just find that, you know, my first priority being to make sure I am not anxious anymore when I am sitting here. I am not afraid, because that's the one thing you will feel is when you have money on the line, the way your emotions will act or the way your body will act is the same way it will act if you're under attack. And it took me a long time to understand this, because as a trader, you think that it's all digital, it's all nice, it's all fun and game, but that's not the case. Your amygdala, which is a part of your brain that processes, fear, threat, and all that, is very much active. So your job as a trader is to calm your amygdala, is to quiet your amygdala, to make sure that you can put yourself in a position where your amygdala doesn't go into a fight or flight, which is where a lot of traders start to get into, revenge trading and a bunch of other things. And we've all done it. We've all made those mistakes, and some of you, unfortunately, will keep making those mistakes until you learn how to properly deal with those emotions, right? And there are ways that you can do it from a psychological standpoint, like using a heart rate monitor, making sure that your breathing is good, you're breathing well, you're calm, you're nice and relaxed. And there are ways from a technical standpoint that you can also do that too. And this way of trading is not the holy grail. It's not the best way out there. It's just a way for you. There you go. 1 second. Nice. So taking my first scaling off here, we're trading into the 1800 mark right now, and I want to see if the market is going to reject off here, but it doesn't really matter. I have the buy side liquidity at 1804, so by God's grace we keep moving up. So first scaling here, 66 pips banked, and our first scaling we banked 30 pips. So that's this to me creates even more of a ease, because now I have taken a bigger portion off the trade, and I have my last position on to see if the market will be hitting my buy side objective of 1804, which if you look on the 1 hour time frame, I guess on the 1 hour time frame, on the 1 hour time frame, it is right here. It would be this little guy right there. So right around the 104, 105 mark. And 1814 would be the main buy side liquidity that I have in terms of this week. So we're making good progress so far in terms of how price is moving to the upside. But once again, hitting 1800, we have seen a nice rejection. I personally wouldn't be surprised if price does use this as the catalyst to continue a move further down, given that 1800 I think will hold to be a significant holds to be a psychological level, if you want to call it that. So which is why I had my second take profit marked right at that level. And if I don't get the third take profit, that's perfectly okay. But it's important to scale out at tactical levels, so you can not just taking profits wherever you want to take profits, but you're thinking about where you're going to be taking profit from. What are other traders doing, and whatnot, so on and so forth. So here it is. Here it is. So it's 9:35. There you go. So now we're rejecting pretty firmly from the 1800 mark, And yeah, we're rejecting pretty firmly from the 1800 mark. And this is a good day in golf, because days like this, you feel like you're good. You got it. You know, you still got it. I was watching Formula One last night, and I don't know if you guys have seen the series. You guys watch the Formula One series?
Yeah. Drive to Survive.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And you know, watching Lewis Hamilton, he was like, yeah, you know, it was like the first episode just starting, and he's won 7 times, the World Series 7 times now at this point. And it's crazy how, regardless of how good you are at something, whatever it is, you know, you're starting the business, you're working towards becoming a more profitable trader, you're seeing better results, you've become a profitable trader, you're making money. The doubt never goes away. And one of the things that he said was, do I still got it? Do I still got it? You know, I want to find out this season do I still got it? You're a 7-time world champion. No one's ever done that in the history of the sport, right? And you still ask yourself a doubtful question like that, and that is life. That is what being human is, right? And some days, you know, you're gonna be confident, and some days you're not gonna be so confident. And we all have those days, and some days for me are extremely rough, where, you know, it's like I don't feel as motivated, I don't feel as, you know, passionate about my craft that I have spent hours and hours and time and study and sacrificed so much, friendships, money, and points in time, money that I didn't have, you know, to something, to a goal I didn't know if I could attain. And you get to a certain point, even when I quit my job, you know, and I started doing this, I still had doubts. The doubts were even more, came even more at that point. And, you know, I had some pretty wild experiences. And, you know, you start having fun and you start partying and whatever, and it takes you to a new level. But each level comes with its own demons. But the one thing is, like, the doubt will never go away, and good days are there to show you that, hey, you know what? You keep going. And if you haven't had a good day in a while, you haven't had a profitable day in a while, just keep focusing on the craft. Trading will teach you a lot more than just making money, you know, just the charts. Trading will teach you a lot about life, about perseverance, and not giving up, fighting for a life that you believe in. At least that's what it's taught me. You know, it's a very important teacher, I find.
Oh, my bad.
Did you get in on the trade?
I got in 3 fucking times with the wrong lot size. Bro, it's not divided by 100, bro. It's divided by 1,000.
Jesus, US? Are you talking about US 30 or?
Oh yeah, I literally got in at a 10 lot. I dragged my stop loss down, and it's like 12,000 lots.
Whatever it shows on Facebook, you just divide by that number. It shows 700, divide by 700.
Yeah. So, anyways, but the entry was terrible. But I made like 0.25% off that accidental.
Well, that's not bad. Did you close it?
Yeah, I closed it.
Dang.
It's instantly went into profit, so I only need to recover 3.7 now.
There you go.
Like, shit, I blessed you with it, so.
There you go. There you go.
I'd open it, close it, reopen another big one. I'm like, it's still too big. Close it again. Euros rejected too. But fuck, now I think I'm in a too small of a lot size.
Yo, it should be whatever you see on trading, you just divide by that. Risk divided by that.
Yeah, but you're. That's literally what I asked. You said no. Yeah, one lot. I should open up one lot, not 10 lot. I should have just left that accidental one. I got it such a good price, but I couldn't. If it like moved against me, I just got blown out of the water.
That's alright, buddy. That is alright. It happens. I feel like what time is it right now? It's 10:42. I'm gonna be wrapping the stream up here. It's probably the longest stream that I've done so far on YouTube. But yeah, we do the stream Monday to Friday in the community, guys. Yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely, if anything of this hit you in a positive way, hit the like and subscribe button. So we do this on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We'll be doing another one at 7:30. So don't forget to tune in, guys. And yeah, once again, I hope you guys are out there living free and chasing your dreams, because there is no better way to live, man. There is absolutely no better way to live. Find something that is worth giving yourself and your time for, beyond the mundane obligations of life, job, responsibilities, and find something you can lose yourself in. And maybe trading can be it, or maybe trading is not. Maybe you're experimenting to see, but never stop trying, never stop searching for what that is. And in the Bible it says, seek and ye shall find, to give you a nice quote there for you to take home. So never stop seeking, because what you are seeking is also seeking you. So once again, hope you guys are out there living free, and